Okay, I want you to just picture your mental load right now. You're busy juggling work, personal life, family, all that stuff. And somewhere, maybe right this second, somebody is poking around your most critical digital accounts.
Mhm.
Maybe they've snagged some credentials, they're logging into your client system, or perhaps there's a weird charge hitting your credit card. So here's the real problem we're tackling in this deep dive. How long would it actually take you to notice?
Right.
Are we talking like
Mm.
days, weeks, maybe when that dreaded monthly statement finally lands? Or, and this is the goal, right, instantly, while you can still actually do something about it.
The time difference, yeah. That gap between when the incident kicks off and when you realize it's even happening. That's honestly the single biggest factor in whether you're looking at a minor headache or, well, a total catastrophe.
Okay.
And that's the gap we want to close today.
Oh.
So our mission in this deep dive is pretty focused, helping you set up your own digital early warning system. We're really zoning in on just one critical source today, a core idea known in security circles as IR-5. It's all about incident monitoring.
And we're focusing just on this one piece because, honestly, this is ground zero. If you don't spot it, you can't stop it, right?
Exactly.
The whole point is to stop flying blind because, let's face it, digital trouble hackers, system glitches, even financial fraud, it's designed to be sneaky. It loves the dark.
It absolutely does. You just can't respond to something you never even see coming. And incident monitoring, it isn't some, super complex firewall or expensive software necessarily. It's basically your essential security radar. Simple, but it tells you when something suspicious moves in the fog. We kind of call this the first law of digital defense. Detection has to come before response.
Okay, so let's unpack that. Let's look at the actual real-world difference this kind of radar system makes. Our source material gives us these two really powerful scenarios. They show the stark contrast between having this set up and, well, not.
Yeah, these case studies are perfect.
Yeah.
They really highlight how the initial problem might be identical, but the outcome totally different just based on when you find out.
All right, let's start with the business side of things. The scenario is called the dreaded 2 a.m. login. So imagine you run a small marketing agency. You handle social media for clients, maybe local restaurants, small shops, that kind of thing. Your client management system, that's the vault. It holds all the keys to their accounts.
Right, critical stuff.
So it's a random Tuesday night, you're asleep or maybe, catching up on a show, and someone logs into your main system, an unauthorized actor, and the source material, it gives us really specific kind of chilling detail here.
It does. It says they logged in from a really unusual, far-off location like Romania, and they used credentials they probably bought off the dark web or maybe phished earlier.
Okay.
So the system sees a valid user ID and password, but that location and the time of day, those are just screaming red flags.
But if you don't have that monitoring set up, what happens?
Well, nothing. Silence. You're basically just waiting for things to break. This login happened at 2 a.m. Tuesday. Your team doesn't clock in until, say, 9 a.m. But even then, they're probably focused on their daily tasks, their workflow, not digging through audit logs first thing.
So yeah, nobody notices, maybe not until Thursday morning. And that's when the phone rings. It's your client, that local restaurant owner, and they're asking why their Instagram is suddenly pushing crypto scams or, weird links.
Exactly. And by that point, the damage isn't just contained, it's multiplied. You're not dealing with one compromised account anymore.
Yeah.
You're looking at 3, maybe 4 clients whose online presence was just hijacked for, 36 hours?
Ooh.
You've lost their trust, you've wasted critical time, and now you're in full scramble mode trying to fix a massive professional mess.
Okay, but I do have a genuine question here. Let's say I am the owner, and I get that text alert at 2:03 a.m. saying, unusual login detected. Honestly, I might just roll over and ignore it. We all get so many notifications, right? Notification fatigue is real. How does monitoring actually stop this if I'm tempted to just swipe it away?
That's a great point. And that's where setting the right kind of alerts, the right thresholds, and really understanding the stakes comes in. You're totally right. If it buzzes every single time you log in from a new coffee shop Wi-Fi, yeah, you'll tune it out fast.
Right.
But this alert, the one specifically tied to critical client access, flagged from an unusual international IP address, that one needs to cut through the noise. So in the scenario where things go right, that text alert buzzes at 2:03 a.m. Even if you're half asleep, you maybe glance at your phone, you see the location data Romania, and boom, you know instantly that's not you, that's not your team. So you grab your phone right then and there, you reset that compromised password immediately, Maybe you force-enable two-factor authentication if it wasn't already. You might even quickly check the logs for any signs of data being copied.
And the result?
Crisis averted, the clients. They never even knew how close they came to a major problem. The incident did happen technically, but because you detected it instantly, you turned what could have been a catastrophic failure into just a near miss, a blip.
Wow.
That's that critical time window we keep talking about. The speed of your response makes all the difference. That early warning gives you the power to act defensively. It turns a potential, say, $10,000 cleanup problem into a quick 3-minute password change.
That business example is definitely scary. But let's bring this closer to home for everyone listening, because this whole issue of invisible activity, it's universal for individuals too. We're talking about that feeling, we all know the slight anxiety when you check your bank account. You're grabbing your morning coffee, maybe you flip open your banking app, and bam, there it is. And our source material, it gives another one of those details that just sticks in your head. A $347 download charge to some unknown company called Digital Services Pro.
Yes. We've all played that game, right? Financial detective,
Yeah.
digging through email receipts, racking your brain. Did I sign up for some weird subscription service like a year ago?
Totally.
The writer of this IR-5 source actually mentioned that specific feeling. Having to hunt down the origin of some mysterious charge made them realize just how exposed they were without immediate alerts.
And think about it. If you only rely on manual checks, maybe you peek at your account every few days. Or worse, you wait for that end-of-the-month statement PDF. You might not spot that phantom charge for a whole week.
And that delay, that gap is where things get really bad, really fast. Without alerts, that first dodgy charge, it's often just the test. It might be followed by 5 more. Suddenly your account could be seriously overdrawn. The money's basically gone before you even know fraud happened. And now you're stuck dealing with the bank's fraud department, which can be, let's be honest, a bureaucratic nightmare. You might be out funds for days.
Yeah, but contrast that if you had just taken, say, 15 minutes at some point to set up those proactive alerts. Your phone buzzes the instant that charge hits. You see $347 Digital Services Pro. You know immediately you didn't buy that. So you pick up the phone, call the bank, freeze the card, done. Maybe before you even finish your coffee.
Exactly. You've contained the damage. Just that one single fraudulent charge. And this just hammers home that core idea again. Early notice gives you options. It gives you leverage. It gives you time. And critically, it gives you the ability to contain the damage before it spirals out of control. It flips the script from being reactive and feeling helpless to being proactive and actually in control.
Okay, so enough hypotheticals. Let's talk about actually doing this. Let's get practical. Because the source material isn't just about explaining the problem, right? It actually gives us a quick, focused mission for today. Something you can do, like right now, in the next 15 minutes, to lay the foundation for the system.
Yeah, this is where we turn that understanding into, like, actual digital armor.
Yeah.
And the steps are slightly different depending on if you're, say, running a small business or just managing your personal finances.
Right. So if you are a small business owner listening right now, your first move isn't necessarily hiring some expensive security firm. It's simpler. Log into your most critical business accounts. Think about the ones where a breach would just cause immediate chaos.
Like what?
Well, your main business email, definitely. Your cloud storage, where all that client data lives.
Yeah.
And any financial platforms you use, like payroll or invoicing. And once you're in there, you need to actively hunt for the settings. They're often buried deep in the security menus. Look for things like login notifications or unusual activity alerts, or maybe security event notifications. The naming varies a bit.
And here's the really crucial and honestly kind of frustrating detail the source points out. These critical settings, the exact ones that could save your bacon in that 2 a.m. crisis scenario, they are almost always turned off by default.
Wait, really? Off? Why?
Yeah, off why? Well, platform developers, they worry about that notification fatigue you mentioned. They often prioritize a smoother user experience over potentially intrusive but vital security warnings.
Okay.
So you, the user, you have to be proactive. You have to overcome that default inertia. Go into your Google Workspace admin panel or Microsoft 365 or whatever cloud tools you rely on. And don't just check the mobile app. Often the really detailed security settings are only on the desktop website version. Find that section. Click that button that says, alert me to logins from unrecognized devices or similar.
So it takes some deliberate effort.
Okay. And what about for everyone else? For individuals managing their personal stuff, which is basically all of us.
For personal life, you absolutely need to prioritize financial alerts, like right away. This is the real low-hanging fruit of digital security, seriously.
Okay.
Set up alerts for your bank accounts and your credit cards. And don't just accept the bank's standard settings, customize them.
Customize how? What should we monitor?
Good question. Definitely set up a low balance alert, not just to avoid overdraft fees, although that's good too,
Yeah.
but because a sudden unexpected drain from fraud will trigger it instantly.
Smart. What else?
Customize the transaction size alerts. Think about your normal spending. If you rarely, if ever, spend more than, say, $200 in one go, set an alert for any single charge over $250. That gives you a really quick focus signal when a big, potentially unauthorized transaction happens, like that $347 charge to Digital Services Pro.
And definitely, if you don't travel internationally very often, make sure you enable alerts for any international charges or even login attempts on your accounts. That's your tripwire for catching a hacker trying stuff from Romania, wherever they might be.
Right. The bottom line here seems to be that relying on, like, a monthly statement to catch fraud or a weird login, that's not an early warning system at all.
Not even close. It's basically a post-mortem report,
Uh-huh.
an autopsy of your finances.
Yeah.
You need that immediate buzz, that text message, that email notification in real time. That's what gives you the chance to jump in and freeze things when it actually counts.
So, wrapping this up, what's the big takeaway here? We've spent this whole deep dive focused on just one component monitoring. Why? Because it seems like it fundamentally changes your relationship with your digital life. It's not about being like paranoid all the time. It's about being prepared. It's about control.
That's exactly it. Think of incident monitoring like your digital smoke detector. Simple analogy, but it works. You really hope you never, ever need it. You hope that hacker in Romania never gets in or that $347 phantom charge never appears.
Right.
But if, or maybe when, disaster does strike, you will be so glad that little digital alarm is ready to go off. Because that early warning, that's what gives you the power to actually do something useful instead of just dealing with the messy aftermath. It literally gives you the gift of having options when you need them most.
So if you take these steps, even just the small ones today, you're essentially giving your future self the most valuable thing possible during a crisis time. So here's the closing thought we want you to chew on. If detection is truly the first law of digital defense, what's the single most vulnerable account you own right now? The one that would cause the most pain if it got breached? And what specific alert are you going to turn on for it? Maybe in the next 15 minutes.
And just remember this whole concept of incident monitoring, this IR-5 idea, it's really just the first crucial step in a bigger picture. Once you've got this early warning system working, the next logical move, which we'll actually explore in IR-8, is creating your actual incident response plan, like a written game plan. What do you do step by step when those alerts do start firing? That's how you turn that initial awareness into decisive, effective action.